The night I came home early, I caught my wife red-handed with my uncle, and I've never felt so humiliated in my. I need to tell someone what I did, what I became, because the man I see in the mirror now isn't the person I thought I was. My name is Marcus, and 3 months ago I destroyed everything I ever loved. Everyone thinks they know how this story goes, or probably expecting me to talk about her cheating, about walking in and finding them together, about being the victim. But that's not what happened. I was the cheater first. It started 6 months before that night, before everything fell apart. Before I lost Sarah, my 2 kids, my parents, and any shred of dignity I had left. Sarah and I had been married for 9 years, together for 12. High school sweethearts who actually made it work. 2 beautiful kids, Emma who's 7 and Jake who's 5. A house in the suburbs, date nights every Friday. The whole picture perfect setup everyone says they want, and I had away for absolutely nothing. Her name was Jessica. She worked in my office, sat 3 cubicles down. Blonde hair, always wore these pencil skirts. But that's not why it happened. I need to understand that. It wasn't about her being more attractive than Sarah. It wasn't about Sarah letting herself go or any of that garbage cheaters tell themselves. Sarah was beautiful, is beautiful, smart, funny, the kind of mom who remembers every kid's allergy at the birthday parties she organized. She remembered my coffee order. She laughed at my jokes. She was everything. I cheated because I'm weak. Because I'm selfish. Because somewhere along the way, I started believing I deserved more excitement than a happy stable. It began with lunch, just lunch. Jessica would ask about my weekend and actually listen. She'd laugh at my stories about the kids. It felt good to be seen as more than just Emma and Jake's dad. For once, I told we were just friends. Then it was drinks after work. Then it was texting late at night when Sarah was already asleep. Then it was deleting messages. Then it was creating excuses to work late. The first time Jessica was in my car after a work happy hour. I drove home that night and climbed into bed next to Sarah, and I didn't feel guilty. That's the part that haunts me most. I felt alive. I felt like I was 22 again. I felt like I'd gotten away with something. The affair lasted 4 months. 4 months of sneaking around, lying about overtime, creating work trips. 4 months of coming home and kissing my wife while she made dinner for our family. 4 months of reading bedtime stories to my kids with another woman's perfume probably still on my shirt. Sarah suspected nothing. That's what killed me later. She trusted me completely. When I said I had to work late, she'd pack me leftovers. When I said I had an early meeting, she'd set her alarm to make me breakfast. She believed in me, and I used that belief like a weapon against her. The affair ended badly. Jessica wanted more. She wanted me to leave Sarah. When I told her I couldn't do that to my kids, she called me a coward. We had a massive in the parking garage at work. She told me I'd let her on, that I was just another married man who lied about leaving his wife. She was right. I had blocked her number. Requested a transfer to a different apartment. I told I'd dodged a bullet, that I could go back to my normal and pretend it never happened. I thought I could bury it. But guilt is a living thing. It grew inside me every day. Every time Sarah smiled at me. Every time Emma asked me to play princesses. Every time Jake wanted me to throw the football. I became distant, irritable. Sarah noticed, but she thought I was stressed about work. She tried to help. She'd rub my shoulders and ask if I wanted to talk. She planned a surprise weekend getaway for just the 2 of us, got her mom to watch the kids. I snapped at her, told her I was too busy, said she was being clingy. She cried, apologized for being too much, for not understanding what I was going through. I let her think she was the problem. That's when I started noticing her spending more time with my Uncle Dan. Dan was my dad's younger brother. 42, divorced 3 years ago, worked in construction. He'd come over sometimes to fix things around the house. Help with yard work. He was family. Sarah started calling him more often. The sink was leaking, the fence needed repair. The deck was rotting. I didn't think anything of it. I was relieved actually. It meant I didn't have to do it. It meant I had more time to wallow in my own guilt and self. I started seeing little things. The way she'd laugh at his jokes. How she'd touch his arm when she thanked him. How she started wearing makeup on days he was coming over. But I pushed it down. Sarah wasn't like that. Sarah was loyal. Sarah was good. Not like me. 2 weeks ago, I left work early. I'd been feeling sick all day, probably stress eating through my stomach lining. I didn't call ahead. I just wanted to go home, take some medicine and sleep. I pulled into the driveway at 2 in the afternoon. Sarah's car was there, and Dan's truck. That should have been fine. He was probably fixing something. But something felt wrong. The house was too quiet when I walked in. Usually the kids would be home from school by 3, but it was earlier. Sarah had mentioned something about them having a playdate at her friend Michelle's house. I heard voices upstairs. Laughing. Sarah's laugh, the one she used to give me. I stood at the bottom of the stairs for what felt like an hour. Part of me wanted to leave. To go back to work, to pretend I hadn't come home. But I climbed those stairs anyway. Our bedroom door was closed. Never closed during the day. Sarah always said closed doors made the house feel dark. I opened it. They were on our bed, my Uncle Dan and my wife Sarah. Not completely undressed but close enough. His hands were in places only I had touched. Her face was flushed in a way I hadn't seen in months. They didn't see me at first. I must have made a sound, because Sarah's head snapped toward the door. Her eyes went wide. Her mouth opened but nothing came out. Dan jumped, started pulling his shirt back on, saying my name over and over. Marcus, Marcus listen. Marcus let me explain. I couldn't move. Couldn't think. Sarah was crying, reaching for her clothes, saying I'm so sorry on repeat like a broken record. All I could think was, this is my fault. I broke us first and now she'd broken me back. How long? My voice didn't sound like mine. Sarah was sobbing. "Too long." Dan stepped forward. 2 months. Marcus, we didn't mean for it to. 2 months. While I was pretending to be the faithful husband again. While I was patting on the back for ending my affair. While I was playing happy family. She'd been doing exactly what I'd done, except she'd done it with family. I left, walked down the stairs out the door, got in my car. I don't remember driving, but I ended at my parents' house. My mom took one look at my face and knew something was catastrophically wrong. I told her everything, about coming home early, about Sarah and Dan. My mom's face went through every emotion, disappointment, anger, disgust, grief. Heated first. Her voice was ice. I nodded. I shook my head. My mom closed her eyes. When she opened them she looked older, tired. Need to tell her, need to tell everyone the truth. But I didn't want to. Because once I told the truth, I couldn't be the victim anymore. I couldn't let people comfort me. I couldn't play the betrayed husband. I'd have to be what I really was. The man who destroyed his own family. I didn't go home that night. Or the next. I stayed at a motel near the highway, the kind with flickering neon signs and stains don't ask about. Sarah called 47 times the first night, then texting started, then voicemails. Marcus, please. We need to talk. Marcus, the kids are asking where are. Marcus, I know I messed but please just come home so we can figure this out. I listened to every single one, didn't respond to any of them. Dan called too. Left one voicemail. I'm sorry nephew. I know that doesn't mean anything right now. But I need to know it wasn't something we planned. It just happened. Call me when ready. It just happened. Like affairs or weather events, like their car accidents nobody could prevent. I deleted it. By day 3 my parents knew the whole story. My dad called me. His voice was harder than I'd ever heard it. Mother told me what both did. Dad? Brother. Marcus, my brother. The disappointment in his voice carved pieces out of me. My dad was a Marine. 70 years old and still the toughest man I knew. And I'd broken him. Are going to tell people the truth? He asked. I didn't answer. Because if don't, I will. I won't let Dan take all the blame for something started. Don't get to be the victim here, son. Need to own what did. He hung before I could respond. That's when I realized how bad this was going to get. It wasn't just about Sarah and me anymore. It was about families, holidays, cousins and aunts and uncles who'd have to pick sides. Kids who'd grow knowing their parents destroyed everything. I finally went home on day 4. I needed clothes. I needed to see my kids. Sarah was in the kitchen when I walked in. She looked awful. Dark circles under red-rimmed eyes. Hair pulled back messy. Still beautiful. Still the woman I'd married. Still the woman I'd betrayed first. Marcus. She stood from the table. Thank God. The kids are at school but they've been asking about constantly. Emma thinks you're mad at her for something. That hit me like a punch. Emma thought this was her fault. I'm not mad at Emma, I said quietly. But she's 7. She doesn't understand why her dad disappeared. Sarah's voice cracked. Marcus, we need to talk about what I saw. I couldn't help the bitter laugh. Me catching with my uncle in our bed. She flinched. That. Marcus, I am so sorry. I never meant for it to happen. I never meant it to. How did it start? I don't know why I asked. Maybe I wanted to compare. To see if her affair was somehow worse than mine. Better than mine, different. Sarah sat back down, stared at her hands, stopped seeing me. 6 months ago, just disappeared. We're here physically but we're gone. Cold. Distant. When I tried to talk to, shut down or snap at me. I felt invisible. My chest tightened. 6 months ago, right when my affair started, Dan was kind, she continued. He'd come over to fix things and he'd actually talk to me. Ask about my day, listen to me. Make me feel like I mattered. And I know that's not an excuse. I know I should have just talked to, gone to counseling, anything but what I did. She was crying now. But I was so lonely, Marcus. So lonely, and made me feel alive again. Those words. Those exact words. That's what I'd felt with Jessica. We'd done the same thing, for the same reasons. We'd both been selfish. Both been weak. But I'd done it first. Sarah, I said, my voice was shaking. I need to tell something. She looked at me. Hope in her eyes. Like maybe I was about to say we could work through this. That we could heal. I cheated on. Before and Dan. I had an affair with someone from work. It lasted 4 months. It ended 2 months ago. I watched her face change. Watched the hope and confusion turn to horror, turn to rage. What? Her name was Jessica. It started in February. Ended in June. I'm the reason I became distant. I'm the reason felt invisible. This is my fault. Sarah stood so fast her chair fell backward. We're making this to make what I did seem less bad. I'm not lying. I swear I'm not. Mom knows. Dad knows. I told them everything. Her hand went to her mouth. She backed away from me like I was diseased. Cheated on me. For 4 months. And came home every night and looked me in the eyes and pretended everything was fine. Yes. Let me think I was going crazy. That I was being clingy and needy and too much. Yes. And then when I made the same mistake, gotta play the victim. Gotta leave. Gotta be angry. I know. No. Her voice turned to steel. Don't know. Have no idea what I've done. Not just to us, to our kids, to family, to my family. She grabbed her phone. Started typing furiously. Everyone needs to know the truth. Everyone who's been calling me, telling me I'm a horrible person, that I destroyed this family. They need to know destroyed it first. Panic flooded through me. Sarah, wait, why? So can control the narrative. So can decide who knows what. No, I'm done protecting. She posted it right there. Right in front of me. On Facebook where everyone could see her family, my family, our friends, people from church, parents from the kids' school. My husband is asking why I cheated. Here's why: because he cheated first. For 4 months, he had an affair while I took care of our children and our home and believed in our marriage. He destroyed us before I ever touched another man. He doesn't get to be the victim. Neither do I. We both failed. But the truth matters. She hit post. Looked at me with dead eye. House. Sarah, the kids, will be better off without here right now. Get out. I left. What else could I do? Within an hour, my phone exploded. Texts, comments on Sarah's post. Some people were sympathetic to both of us. Most weren't sympathetic to either of us. Some were just cruel. My cousin Rachel, or both. Those poor kids. My friend Mike. Bro, what the actual? Away everything. Jessica's number, unblocked somehow. Hope it was worth it. My sister, don't call me. Don't come to my house. I don't want my kids around. But the worst was from my dad. I'm ashamed to call my son. That one I read 10 times, 20. Let it sink into my bones. My own father was ashamed of me. I deserved it. I deserved all of it. The next day I tried to pick Emma and Jake from school. Their teacher stopped me in the hallway. Mrs. Peterson, who'd taught Emma since kindergarten. Mr. Harrison, I'm going to need to wait outside. Sarah called and said only she should be picking them for now. They're my kids. I said, I understand. But until to work out custody arrangements I have to follow the primary parent's wishes. I'm sorry, primary parent, like I was secondary, I waited outside anyway. Watched through the fence as Emma and Jake ran to Sarah's car. Emma's smile disappeared when she didn't see me. Jake kept looking around. They drove away, my kids without me. That night Dan called. I answered without thinking. Marcus, we need to talk. I don't have anything to say to Bob. The family's falling apart. Mom and Dad won't speak to me. Dad won't even look at me. Thanksgiving is in 3 weeks and nobody knows what to do. Maybe we just don't have Thanksgiving, I said flatly. These are our parents, Marcus. Our family. We can't just destroy it all because we both made mistakes. I laughed, bitter and sharp. Slept with my wife, nephew's wife. And slept with someone else first. Dan back. Think her better than me. Think what did was somehow less bad because it wasn't family. He was right. I hated that he was right. We both, Sarah, he continued. We both lied. We both broke our values. The only difference is I'm not trying to pretend I'm the victim. What do you want from me, Dan? I want us to tell the kids together. Both of us. So they understand this isn't their fault. So they don't grow thinking families just for no reason. My went cold. Tell the kids. They're gonna find out eventually. Better it comes from than from some kid at school who heard their parents talking. He was right again, but the thought of looking Emma and Jake in the eyes and telling them I destroyed our family made me want to drive my car off a bridge. I can't, I whispered. Have to, they deserve the truth. We met at the house 3 days later, Sarah, Dan and me. The kids were at school. We sat at the kitchen table where we'd had 1,000 family dinners. Sarah looked between us. So what's plan? We sit them down tonight and say what? Mommy and Daddy both cheated, so now we're getting divorced. We don't use the word cheated, Dan said. We keep it age appropriate. We made grown mistakes with each other. We're not going to live together anymore. They'll ask questions. Sarah said her eyes were wet. Emma will ask why. Jake will ask if it's his fault. What do we say? I couldn't speak. My throat was closed. All I could see was Emma's face when she'd watched me leave that day. Jake asking when I was coming home. We tell them the truth in a way they can understand. Dan said, that sometimes adults make bad choices. That we love them. That this isn't their fault. That we're going to figure out a new normal. Sarah looked at me. Can do this. Can sit across from our children and tell them destroyed their family. I didn't do it alone. I said quietly, but did it first. Started all of this. Own it. That evening we picked the kids together. First time in 2 weeks I'd seen them. Emma ran to me, wrapped her little arms around my legs. Daddy, we're back. Jake hung back uncertain. Staying. We need to have a family talk, buddy, I said. We sat them down in the living room. Emma between me and Sarah on the couch. Jake on Dan's lap in the armchair because that's where he always sat when Dan came over. That image would haunt me forever. My son comfortable with the man who'd slept with his mother. Sarah started. Sweethearts, Daddy and I need to tell something important. We love both so much, more than anything in the world. But sometimes grown-ups make mistakes. And Daddy, I made some big mistakes. Emma's face crumpled. What mistakes? I forced to speak. With each other, Emma. We both did things that broke our family. And now we're gonna live in different houses for a while. Divorce. Emma's voice was so small. We don't know yet. Sarah said, tears streaming down her face. But yes, probably. Jake started crying. I don't want 2 houses. I know, baby. Sarah pulled him onto her lap. I know this is scary. But we're gonna make it okay. We're both still parents. We both still love so much. Emma looked at me with eyes too wise for 7 years old. Did stop loving mommy. How to tell daughter the truth? That didn't stop loving her mother. That just chose over family. That thought could have everything and destroy nothing. It's complicated, Emma. But I never stopped loving and Jake. Never. Then why are leaving? She was sobbing now. I had no answer that wouldn't break her more. So I just held her body shake against mine. Knew I'd caused this pain. This confusion. This loss of innocence. After we put them to bed, Sarah, Dan, and I stood in the hallway. Silent, broken. I hope we're happy. Sarah finally said to both of us. I hope whatever we were chasing was worth this. She walked into her bedroom. Our bedroom, closed the door. Dan left without a word. I sat in my car in the driveway and finally broke down. Until I couldn't breathe. Because I knew the worst part was still coming. The worst part was the rest of the divorce papers came 2 weeks later. Sarah's lawyer was ruthless. She was going for primary custody, the house half my retirement, and child support that would leave me living in a studio apartment eating ramen. I couldn't even be mad about it. My lawyer, a tired woman named Patricia who'd seen 1,000 cases like mine, laid it out plainly, cheated first, admitted it publicly, have been absent from the home. She has documentation of being emotionally unavailable. Unless she's an unfit mother, which she clearly isn't, or gonna lose the custody battle. I don't want a battle. I said. I just want to see my kids, then take the deal she's offering. Every other weekend. Wednesday dinners. Alternating holidays. It's standard. Every other weekend. I'd gone from seeing my kids every single day to 4 days a month. I signed the papers. Thanksgiving came. For the first time we didn't have family Thanksgiving. My parents couldn't handle having both Dan and me in the same room. My sister refused to host. Sarah's family obviously wasn't inviting me. I spent it alone in my new apartment. Ate a turkey sandwich, watched football, checked my phone every 5 minutes to see if Sarah would send pictures of the kids. She did. One photo. Emma and Jake at her parents' house, smiling, holding hands with their cousins. Happy. They looked fine without me. Work became unbearable. Everyone knew after Sarah's Facebook post. The story spread through my office like wildfire. Jessica had apparently told people her version, where I was the manipulative married man who seduced her and promised to leave my wife. HR called me in. Not to fire me, but to discuss the situation. Marcus were concerned about workplace morale. Several employees have expressed discomfort working with Bob. I understand. We're gonna move to the branch across town. Different team, fresh start. It's not a demotion, but it is mandatory. Fresh start, like I could just start fresh after burning my entire down. I took the transfer. The new office was smaller, colder, nobody knew me, which should have been a relief. But it just meant I was alone. No work friends to grab lunch with, no one to talk to about the game, just me and my computer and my mistakes. Christmas destroyed me. The custody agreement said I got Christmas Eve. Sarah got Christmas morning, the most important part, the magic part, the part where kids wake and see what Santa brought. I picked Emma and Jake on December 24th at noon. We went to a Christmas tree lot and I let them each pick out a small tree for my apartment. We decorated them with cheap ornaments from Target. I made hot chocolate. We watched Elf. Emma was quiet the whole time. Finally she asked, Daddy, why can't we just all be together for Christmas? Because Mommy and I can't be together right now, sweetie. But said both made mistakes. If we're both sorry, why can't fix it? How to explain to a 7-year-old that some things can't be fixed? That trust, once shattered, doesn't just glue back together. That her mother couldn't look at me without seeing betrayal, and I couldn't look at without seeing failure. Sometimes sorry isn't enough, I said quietly. Jake, who hadn't said much all day, started crying. I miss our old house, I miss our old family. I held him, felt him shake against my chest. My 5-year-old son mourning the family I'd killed. That night I read them stories in the single bedroom of my apartment. They shared the full-size bed I'd bought. I slept on the couch. At midnight, I set out the presents I'd bought. Nothing extravagant because I couldn't afford extravagant anymore. A doll for Emma. Legos for Jake, some books, some clothes. When they woke on Christmas morning, they opened presents with forced smiles. They thanked me, they hugged me. Then I drove them back to Sarah's house at 9 a.m. so they could have real Christmas with her. I watched them run inside, carrying their new toys. Watched Sarah close the door without even looking at me. I sat in my car in her driveway, my old driveway, and stared at the house I used to live in. The lights on the tree visible through the window. The wreath on the door Sarah and I had picked out together 5 years ago. I drove back to my empty apartment, stared at the sad little tree. The wrapping paper scattered on the floor. The silence. This was my now. January brought the final divorce hearing. Sarah and I sat on opposite sides of the courtroom. Didn't look at each other. Our lawyers did most of the talking. The judge, an older man with gray hair and tired eyes. Legal custody, primary physical custody to the mother, standard visitation for the father. Is this acceptable to both parties? Yes, Honor, Sarah said. Yes, Honor, I echoed. Very well. The marriage between Sarah Catherine Harrison and Marcus James Harrison is hereby dissolved. Dissolved. Like we were a company, a business partnership that didn't work out. 9 years, gone in a sentence. We filed out of the courtroom separately. I saw Sarah's family waiting for her in the hallway. Her mom hugged her. Her sister held her hand. They glared at me as I passed. Nobody was waiting for me. The worst part wasn't the divorce, though. The worst part was watching my kids adjust. Emma started struggling in school. Her teacher called to tell me she'd been getting into fights. My suit Emma, who used to cry when other kids were mean, was pushing classmates and talking back. She's acting out, the teacher said gently. It's common in children of divorce. Have considered counseling. We put her in therapy. 40 minutes a week where Emma talked to a kind woman named Dr. Brooks about her feelings. About her anger. About feeling like her family exploded and nobody asked her permission. After a month, Brooks asked to meet with me and Sarah together. We sat in her office, keeping maximum distance between us. Dr. Brooks looked at us with professional sympathy. Emma is carrying a lot of anger. She feels responsible for the divorce, which is common. But she's also picking on the tension between two. Children are perceptive, they know when their parents each other. We don't each other, Sarah said quickly. Don't we? I asked quietly. Sarah looked at me for the first time in weeks. Really looked at me. I don't know what I feel about Marcus. Some days I'm angry. Some days I'm sad. Some days I just feel empty. That's understandable. Dr. Brooks said, but for Emma's sake, need to find a way to co-parent civilly. She needs to see that even though her parents aren't together, they can still be kind to each other. Sarah laughed bitterly. How are we supposed to do that? Every time I see him I remember what he did, what I did, how we destroyed everything. Start small, Dr. Brooks said. Text about the kids without hostility. Say hello at pickups. Attend school events together without making it awkward. Put Emma and Jake first even when it hurts. It sounded impossible, but we tried. Slowly, painfully we started communicating like adults. Sarah would text me about Emma's homework. I'd text her about Jake's favorite dinner. We'd sit on opposite sides of the gym at Emma's basketball games, but we'd both be there. One night in March, 4 months after the divorce was finalized, Sarah called me, not texted, called. Marcus, can we talk? My heart jumped. Of course. Is something wrong with the kids? No, they're fine. They're asleep. I need to tell something. Okay. I'm seeing someone. It's early, nothing serious yet. But the kids have met him a few times and I wanted to hear me before they mentioned it. The words hit like a truck. Sarah was moving on. Dating, letting someone else into my kids' lives. Who is it? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. His name is Robert. He works with my brother. He's kind, patient with the kids. I'm not trying to replace as their father Marcus. But I'm trying to move forward. Does he know? About everything? Yes, I told him the whole story. He knows I'm not perfect, that I made terrible mistakes too. I wanted to be angry, to tell her it was stop. But I had no right. Okay, I said. Thanks for telling me. Marcus, her voice softened. Okay, I admit it, but that's not problem anymore. She was quiet for a long moment. I want to know that. I'm angry and I don't know if I'll ever fully forgive either of us. But I don't, the father of my children, that will always matter. We hung. I sat in my apartment and stared at the walls. Sarah was moving on, building anew. My kids would have another man in their home, eating dinner with them, watching movies with them, maybe even tucking them in. And I would be the every other weekend dad. The one they called when they needed something, but not the one they lived with. Not the one who knew their daily routines anymore. Not the one who mattered most. Meanwhile, Dan lost everything too. He got pushed out of the family business my dad ran. My dad couldn't work with him anymore, couldn't look at him. Last I heard, Dan moved 2 states away, couldn't handle the shame. The whispers, the way people looked at him at church and the grocery store. We'd both become ghosts. Living, breathing reminders of what happens when choose momentary pleasure over permanent love. Emma's 9th birthday was 2 weeks ago. Sarah a party at her house. The house that used to be our house. I was invited but I knew my place. I came for an hour, brought a present, sang happy birthday, left before cake so I wouldn't make anyone uncomfortable. As I was leaving, Emma followed me to my car. Daddy, why don't stay? Mom has a lot of guests, sweetie. I don't want to be in the way. But my dad, are supposed to be here. I knelt down to her level. Looked into her eyes so much like Sarah's. I know baby, things were different, I'd made better choices, but I can't change the past. All I can do is love as much as I can right now. Do still love mommy? The question gutted me. I'll always love mommy Emma. She's the mother of the 2 most important people in my world. But sometimes love isn't enough to fix what's broken. Emma hugged me tight. I still love our old family. Me too, sweetie, me too. I drove away, watching her in my rearview mirror. Standing in the yard of the home I used to share. I used to have. Now it's been 8 months since that day I came home early. 8 months since I caught Sarah with Dan. 8 months since my world imploded. People ask if I've learned anything. If I've grown, if I'm a better person now. The truth, I don't know. I go to therapy every week. I see my kids as much as the custody agreement allows. I show to their events. I pay my child support on time. I'm doing all the right things now. But I can't erase what I did. I can't undo the affair. Can't unhurt Sarah. Can't give my kids back their intact family. Can't repair my relationship with my parents, who still barely speak to me. I destroyed the best thing I ever had because I was bored. Because I was selfish. Because I thought I deserved more than the blessing I'd been given. And now I live with that every single day. Every night in my empty apartment. Every other weekend when I say goodbye to my kids. Every school event where I sit alone. Every holiday I spend without family. Every time I see Sarah with someone new. This is my now. This is my consequence. So if you're reading this and thinking about cheating, thinking about that coworker who makes feel alive, thinking spouse will never find out, thinking can have both worlds. Let me tell you can't. And ill deserve it. I came home early that day thinking I'd find my world destroyed. I didn't realize I'd destroyed it 6 months before.